Thank you for joining me today on the Garbage Bag Girl podcast. This podcast is about all of us. It's about the things and the ways that make us feel pushed down and small. It is about how the smallest acts of kindness make the biggest impact each day. No one should feel like garbage, ever. Enjoy the show. Hi, this is Celeste Edmunds, Executive Director of the Christmas Box International and, author of Garbage Bag Girl. This book has been a really unique opportunity for me to help our donors understand what it is and provide a little bit of insight into what the kids go through that stay at our 3 emergency shelters in Moab, Salt Lake, and Ogden. And today I have some really, really special guests and long-time friends of, maybe 13 years ago-ish, 12 or 13 years, that I worked with in corporate world. And when I came back as executive director 3 years ago, I was fortunate enough to have these good friends come back. So we have Matt Grant, today's Senior Vice President of Customer Experience, and Rob Shiner. He's in the employee engagement area of the business, and they're with credit.com. And I'm going to let them tell you a little bit about what they do.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us here. So credit.com essentially helps the hardest working Americans with their credit situation. Credit can be awfully confusing and certainly misleading. And so we are there to help educate individuals on their credit and potentially help them remove anything that's unfair or inaccurate. So we've been in business, since I think in the early 90s at this point and had different iterations. But I've been with credit.com for a little over 16 years now. So love what we do and love the partnership with Christmas Box House.
I would say that, even though there's been many iterations, the one thing that's very constant that I can speak to from being involved in the community giving side of credit.com is the community giving. That has been, I can remember clear back in the days when we volunteered at Camp K and some of the fun stuff we did with Food Bank, right?
Yep.
The rope ladder stuff, all the things. And being able to come back and have you guys here is just beyond special. I'm so grateful that you guys have circled back. But that is still the common thread, that no matter what, that has never changed with you guys. No
certainly,
matter who you are or where you are.
Yeah,
right?
Certainly near and dear to us. As you said, there's been a couple of different iterations, but credit.com, really lives its core values. The C in credit stands for consumer advocacy, which again, we position ourselves as advocates for the hardest working Americans who, like I said, have been kind of taken advantage of in a really unfair financial system that's gamed against them. And so that whole theme of advocacy is really what really links us and ties us to community giving and to help those that are a little less fortunate, may lack the education, may lack the resources, all that type of stuff. And so I think that's why it's always been such a strong bond and something, even no matter what our size is, it's something that we continue to go out and foster in our culture.
Well, it's cool because it's not just, financial impact, which we have gotten from you guys, which has actually been quite incredible. It's also volunteerism. You're here today at our warehouse. We process about $800,000 a year of in-kind donations through this warehouse. And about 4 times a year, Rob, I think you guys come every quarter. Mm-hmm. You bring a group in, and whether you're stuffing envelopes for us to send $50 in Walmart gift cards to our young adults in foster care, or you're out sorting donations that other volunteers have brought in, you're always hands-on. I think we've had you guys clean classrooms at the shelter. Mm-hmm. We've had you organize things, and at least once a quarter I walk out of my office and like, there you are. So what are some of, would you say, your favorite projects you guys have done with us have been?
Well, all of them, because it's a way to give back. It's a way to connect. Christmas Box House, as you know, has such a great story and fulfills such an important need in the environment. So that's why we love to give back. We're all about advocacy, and kids oftentimes don't have advocates, and you guys are those advocates. So if there's a way that we can help do that, we're all for it.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I after being 27 years strong and serving about 145,000 children, which is it's a lot to get your head around. I always say it's enough to fill Madison Square Garden about 6.5 times, which is a lot of kids. And it's fairly bittersweet having been raised in the foster care system because there wasn't a Christmas box house when I was a kiddo. And the book talks about the impact of losing my siblings. And it is my very favorite thing to talk about by far, because between the 3 shelters, we keep about 1,000 children that are siblings together every single month. And
so important.
It's huge because by that point, you've lost cousins, uncles, aunts, grandparents, all of your items. And, you know, at my time in the early 80s, I would go every 6 months and bring my stuff in a garbage sack, which is why the name is Garbage Bag Girl. And it's much more than the garbage sack. It's the mentality that you start to take that's your self-worth. And when you go from home to home and you're asking to borrow things and then you have to return them, and it's kind of a reminder that it's not your stuff. People ask me, why do you only have new? And that's why. There's a dignified message that happens with the kids that come in, that they get all their new stuff when they come in and they get all their new stuff when they leave. And all the items that you process and sort are from the community. And so when these kiddos come back as adults who are now our alum, and I ask them what it means for them to have been given all these things by people they've never even met, they're like astounded. Like, are you serious? Where did you think that came from? Like, who did you think gave that to you? But I get it, because I would have never told you at age 7, 8, 9 it's somebody I didn't know, let alone my own family, was that I mattered. And so I just can't stress enough the impact that you make to the about 14,000 children a year that come through our services. It's just incredible. And I'm curious, why did you choose the Christmas Box House? Utah's a super philanthropic state. Matter of fact, we're one of the most philanthropic. We have about 10,600 nonprofits in the state of Utah. So why did you pick us?
Well, great question. I mean, obviously, you're a big draw for that. So the last 3 years.
I was gonna say.
I mean, you know
Celeste.
me. You do know me.
Yeah.
But I didn't call you. You guys called me. I didn't call and ask, for the record.
Again, Christmas Box House has such a great story, and we want to be part of that. Now, we also work with other organizations, food bank, the different homeless shelters. We committed this year to doing 16 straight business days of community giving, and we've been able to come be part with you guys. But yeah, we want to give back. We want to be significant, and we want to do meaningful work. So.
I don't think people, always realize that giving back for a company is actually not easy to do. Now, just writing a check and walking away is one thing, but to show up and give time, I mean, this is expensive labor we have in this room right now. I'm just saying, people still have to get paid, right? All the things still have to happen. The business has to be ran day to day, and so to take time out of your schedule and show up, especially as leadership. Because we know, we've been talking about this for years, that it has to come from the top down. It's one thing to send your employees out, right? And it's another to show up yourselves. Right. And so I'm just very, very grateful that you guys take the time to be here. It matters to me very, very much.
Thank you.
So
We're glad to. Yeah, of course.
On a personal note, right now I'm working on an MBA program, and one of the recent classes I passed had everything to do with does the company do community giving? And that was easy for me because I just wrote about what I knew. This is what we do.
Yeah.
So,
you're like, give me a tough question.
Yeah. I was like, when does this get hard? So.
But it reminds me of, so when I was with Christmas Box House before I worked with you guys in corporate world, and when we launched for 9 years, the first 3 shelters. And community giving at that time looked a lot different. It very much was, you applied to a business, they wrote you a check, you really never heard from them again until you asked again. And now people don't give without the tie-in, which I love, because it makes, that concept that every child needs to be raised by a village. Mm-hmm. It's very much more true today than it used to be, because now employees want to come on site and they want to see what they're donating to, and they want to see what their impact is. Yeah. So I think if we could share, another message to all the employees when you talk to them about giving to us, would be that we're very, very blessed in that we because of our history, we have a lot of people that give us remarkable discounts from shopping with them. And then just being able to be internally efficient, every dollar we extend to about $7 of services, which means every time one of your employees gives $1, it gets maximized to that. And I think that really matters to people, to be able to extend that. So
yeah, it's incredible. I mean, you mentioned the corporate world, and how do we weave in culture in in an environment that sometimes is all about me and all about the next project and getting the next thing done for the business
and hitting my goals
all those different types of things. But especially now that a lot of us are remote, so some of us come in a couple of days a week, so we're more or less in a hybrid. And I think
you're communicating.
Yeah, I think this is a way to really bring people together, and so that you can literally say, look, I not only believe in these core values, but I live them.
That's right.
And I think it brings people together, just serving other people. I think that is just the name of the game. And that's how you really develop a true culture in your company.
Well, thank you. Thank you both for being here.
Of course.
Thank you for sharing your time.
Yep.
Thank you for joining me today on the Garbage Bag Girl podcast. Always remember, you matter. Please subscribe and share this podcast, and visit CelesteEdmunds.com to join my mailing list.